One should not be indoors when one rightly could be without. Yes, we need to get outside. I love getting outside. Don't you love getting outside? Hey y'all, I'm Ashley. Welcome to Joyful Noise Learning. And here I love to talk about affordable homeschooling tips, biblically based curriculum, all under the umbrella of Charlotte Mason Inspired Homeschool. And that is what we're talking about here today. In this video, I want to share, we're going to hit on some of the basics of Charlotte Mason. And the one we're doing in this video is nature study. Yay! Oh, that's my wiggly arms. Nature study. We're talking about getting outside, but not just getting outside for the sake of being outside, studying nature and figuring out how that all works. So in this video, we're going to talk about what Charlotte Mason teaches about nature study, how I have used nature study and how I got started. And then we'll go into what you can do to get started in nature study or continue in nature study if you just need some inspiration on doing it and doing it well with your family. So one thing I thought was cool that I learned about Charlotte Mason was she recommended that kids be outside all afternoon, basically. They do their studies in the morning. After lunch, they go outside for like literally the rest of the afternoon. Unless they're old enough to do work, then they would go work, but the little kids would really have 6 hours or so outside of free play, and then the not so little kids, but like the 8-year-olds to 10-year-olds would be outside for 4 to 6 hours a day. And I think it's pretty amazing, but I know that practically speaking, we can't necessarily do that in our homes right now, and which is okay. But I think getting outside at least once a day is good. But it's not just getting outside too. We need to be studying nature. And the other cool thing is, like, Charlotte Mason knew that being outside for the kids was good, not just for the sake of getting fresh air, but really it helps them develop. It helps them in their bodies and understanding their bodies and how they move and how their bodies work. It helps them grow in that. And it helps them cognitively too, and that's basically the formation of their brain and how they assimilate things that they've been learning in their studies. It's just really, really good. It's good for all of us. We just all need to get outside more, right? Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. But for the kids, yes, they need to go outside to experience things, touch things with their hands, and just simply, looking at leaves or being in the grass, all that, there are studies that show that that helps them in every other kind of development, in their physical and their academic development. So why not make getting outside and doing nature study a priority because of that? Charlotte Mason also says that the knowledge most valuable to the child is that which he gets with his own ears and eyes and fingers in the open air. And I mixed up ears and eyes. It's supposed to be eyes and ears, but bear with me. The valuable knowledge that they get is what they get with their own ears and their own eyes. And that's another reason they need to get outside. And then I love this last Charlotte Mason quote here. We are all meant to be naturalists, each in his own degree, and it is inexcusable to live in a world so full of the marvels of plant and animal life and to care for none of these things. So she's saying it's a good idea to care about plants and animals, right? And where are we gonna find the plants and animals? Outside. They're outside, right out there. See? Trees, grass, bugs, some animals. Okay, it doesn't mean if you live in the city that you can't study nature. You can just go out and find the nature that you do have in your area. There's always bugs, there's always birds, there's always some kind of plant somewhere, right? But yeah, many of us might be blessed to live in a more naturalistic area, and that's great. Go out and go get in those areas. But how did I get started with nature study? Well, it turns out I shared this in my last video, but I read the book For the Children's Sake by Susan Schaefer Macaulay. So good. Again, you need to go read it. I recommend it for any homeschool mom, especially Charlotte Mason homeschool moms. There she introduced all these ideas to me, and one of them was the kids being outside very often and studying in nature. And I thought, oh my goodness, how do we do nature study? Do I carry around my nature study book and my journal and we draw every little thing we see? I don't know, it sounded overwhelming. This also kind of goes along with my living books video, but with nature study, you can pick a topic and study it for a little bit. And it should be a topic that is seasonal. Like you can think about what's going on seasonally. So I picked things that were seasonal or related to what we had in our area at the time. So some of the topics we've done are birds. We've done a lot of bird studies, learned about the birds in our area and put up a bird feeder. We looked at spiders, we looked at butterflies, we even got some caterpillars and watched the caterpillars change into butterflies. That was so cool. Tadpoles, my daughter loved catching tadpoles, and we saved a few and tried to watch them grow into frogs. Most of them got to be like little mini frogs. They were little mini frogs and then they like disappeared or something. I don't know, we lost them, but that was really, really cool to watch. And we looked at flowers that were just in our backyard. Like all of these things, we like never left our neighborhood or our backyard for. Sometimes we love, now that the kids are bigger and a little bit older, we love getting out and going on nature walks in nature preserves in our area, and that I highly recommend. But you don't have to do that. You could just do that in your own backyard. After looking at these things and just learning to identify certain things in our area, we would try to add them to our nature journal. And I've confessed this in other videos where we don't use our nature journal very regularly, and I want to get better at doing that. Having like Fridays be our nature journal day, or part of our day on Friday, and that's been going fairly well the last several weeks. So I'll get to the resources I use for nature study in just a minute, but the best thing that you can do, again, like I said, just pick a topic and study that and ask questions about it. Go look at it in your local area, watch videos on YouTube. It doesn't have to be fancy or a huge planned thing. It can be super simple. You just need to set aside some time during your week for it. And really once a week, I think is sufficient, or maybe even every other week. If you can't, if it's like, just feels like one more thing you need to squeeze into your day, don't put it on your schedule on a daily basis. You could start just doing it on a weekly basis or once a month basis. If it's something that you need to add to your day. But again, the other thing you can do that is super easy, super simple with any age kids is just go outside and look and see what you can see. Or take a walk. That is the easiest thing. You look at the flowers, see what colors they are. You look at the trees, see what colors they are. And then when you get home, you look up what you just saw and say, oh, I wonder what kind of flowers those were. I wonder what kind of bugs those were, etc., etc. So that's the most simplest thing that we have done that I think any family can do, that you can do any time of day, any time of year, for 15 minutes or 2 hours, it depends. So I highly recommend just starting to do it on your walks, and that's all you have to do. Okay, some of my favorite resources that you can use to help you with your nature study. So if you're not really into the journaling, that's fine, but Cindy West has some great nature study resources. So she's got just a hodgepodge of ideas of things you could look for or do on a nature walk. She does give a few tips on nature journaling as well. Exploring Nature with Children has an incredible year-long curriculum that you could totally use in replace of all science curriculum for your elementary kids. I have not used it personally. I think I've read it or looked at it and used a few of it, but I never dove in with the whole thing. But I know several people who have used it and love it. So you want to check out Exploring Nature with Children. Love, love, love them. Wonder-Filled Days is one that I have used and I've mentioned before. They put out a calendar. This one's really cool. It's nice, like if you don't want to pick what you do when, like you just look on the calendar on the day that you're on and say, oh, we're supposed to look at cottontail rabbits today. And then you look up rabbits and then you're done. And then it also goes seasonally with what is in most areas during that season. But Wonder-Filled Days has been a great resource that I've loved. Another one is Charlotte Mason's Simple Studies. I have a link for that in the description below as well. She has some nature units that include living books that kind of go nature and living books together that you can use for a full curriculum. And that is not just nature study, but like I said, you could use that for a full year, for a full curriculum with your kids for unit studies. And they're really, really fun, really good. And then lastly, the last resource that I am so excited for is How to Teach Nature Journaling by John Muir Laws. He even has a YouTube channel I just discovered. I'm so excited for this. I think my kids are gonna love this. We haven't officially used it yet, but I've been researching it and I'm gonna use it. And I've heard good things about him. So if you are in the struggle department with the nature journaling, he can be a great resource for sure. And again, you don't have to be super amazing artists in order to do this. You just do what is best for you and your kids and just try. And what I've learned with this, I didn't feel like I was a great artist when I started this, or a great like naturalist or scientist when I started doing nature study, but the more we do it, the more I love it, and the more it becomes a little easier and more natural to me. So just to finish this off, just keep it simple. Pick maybe one unit study or one resource to pull from. Don't use all of these that I just said here. You're probably gonna wanna try all of them, but pick one resource, try it, put it into your day intentionally. Make sure it's either once a week, or if you wanna do more than that, that's fine. Just put it in your calendar, on your schedule to do, because it's one of those things that doesn't happen if you don't put it in your calendar. How do I know? Yeah, I just know from experience. So make sure you put it in your calendar and then do it. And then remember, it's not gonna be perfect. The whole point is to be outside, to explore, to let your kids get their fingers on things and touch and smell and see things with their own eyes and their own ears, and have fun. Just have fun with it. Don't try to formulate it too much, make it too much into a formula. Don't try to make it too much into a lesson or anything. Just let it happen what's gonna happen. And it's really cool. I've seen really neat things with this in our family. Have fun with this nature study and some nature journaling. I would love to chat with you guys about this in the comments. If you have any other resources that you would like to share, or ways that you have done nature study. I did do a quick video about nature journaling, but I'll just be honest, I'm probably not the best resource for it. We do it, my daughter's good at it, but I'm not very methodical with it, systematic with it at all. So we just kind of do it when we can. Be sure to subscribe and be ready for more of my Charlotte Mason Basics videos for today. And I've got some other fun ones too. Just go check them out. Check them out on my channel. You guys rockin' homeschooling. Go find his joy among the noise, and I'll see you in the next video. You could start just doing, people interrupt me, okay. My eyes are all over the place.